Welcome. Welcome again to the Chaos Rain channel again. Sorry about that. I had both backgrounds playing. I apologize. Um, Give me 1 minute as I send out necessary information and links. Okay. Today's stream, or I should say today's broadcast, we'll be focusing on, do women love cheaters? This is Chaos Theory episode. If you are new to this channel, don't be so hesitant and hit that red subscriber button and hit the top bell. That way you know when I go live. And as you know, that there are three notifications. You know how if you listen for YouTube, you have to hit the top bell to get when there's an upload or when I'm going live on YouTube. That's the best way to know when Chaos Rain is active and live. Also, please like the videos, the uploads or the streams, if you can. Also, I'd like to hear from you. comments are the best tools of progression. So if you feel inclined, leave a comment on depending you like the subject or you heard some things you like or don't like. Chaos Rain loves to hear from you. So don't be no stranger to the comment section. And all right, so I'm just testing my mic. Let me just raise the volume a little bit. All right, good. I'll be doing a sound test, moving back and forth. So, um, what else I want to do? Let me send out these links. Oh, no. Okay. Before I get into my subject, let me see who's present. Yeah, I know, brother. And I might just open up in a little bit for the men if they're present. Share this video if you can. Their stream. Also, this is on podcast as well. So, like I said, people sharing is caring. So let me get through this. Hold on a second. There we go. All right. Well, let me get to my little short monologue before I let people say the piece. Um, my views about cheating is this: women do love cheaters, and it depends on the cheater or the man or the quiet man. They will let slide cheat, rather the man is being upfront or I like to call mode one or not, and that's how the game is played, fellas and ladies. I know most ladies won't want to admit this because let's be honest, in our communities, there's not much clear game in regards how we handle each other as men and women. So, when you come into this relationship things, always know this is gonna be a constant tug of war. And as always, you as a man, you have to be on your square if you're gonna be out here in the dating scene. So what I said earlier in the previous broadcast, that yeah, women don't mind cheaters unless they're sexually attracted to, that's giving a good dick, or he has some really good resources. Either or, it is what it is. So if you can hear Miss Letitia, are you there?
Hello, I'm here.
Okay, okay. Wonderful, wonderful. That was a very much a stimulating conversation, and we are carrying over here to continue on to really go into depths about this thing about women love cheaters. And I have the two articles that the brother did post. If I might look at it and may present to people depending on the time. But your views, Miss Letitia. Oh yeah, and please give people tell them a little bit about yourself since people are not familiar on the
Oh,
Chaos Running channel.
okay. Well, thank you for inviting me onto your stream, your show. Really appreciate it. I thoroughly enjoyed the last time I was on.
Hmm.
So I am Letitia Underwood. I am the CEO and executive matchmaker at Two Hearts Exclusive Matchmaking Services. I am a professional certified matchmaker where I focus on the needs of high value men and help them find a suitable and compatible, comparable match. I'm also a dating specialist. I help both men and women navigate the dating process. I focus mainly on um, the actual practice of dating, the art of dating. So I'm essentially more like a female Hitch, if anyone's seen that movie.
Okay. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I'm hoping that the next person will join. I don't know if you hear echoes in the background. I'm playing two audios to hear my sound. But when I was going back and forth listening, Letitia, I think the average woman, they say they don't want cheating. They don't like cheating. I get it. I understand, but there are rules to this game about infidelity and cheating amongst our communities, whether we accept it or not. Um, and how I look at it is, the higher tone pole the man is in his status, his money, that he is going to be more valuable to a lot of women that could see it, that this man has greater potential, especially if he has like that, how he carries, how he moves, how he talks. You know how it is. And women sense it, they can smell it. It's like a sixth sense they have. So when I find that some women said they don't like it, but we all know deep down inside that they won't mind depending what type of man they're dealing with. Because if cheating was a big issue in the black community, if they said it's that bad, and I mean really bad, 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 why you stay? It's easy to know that he has another woman on the side. All you gotta do is if you're not married to this man, which most black people on average either married or not, it's easy to do is to walk away. That's the best thing you could do as a woman. I remember a woman named 6 Foot God said anytime she can't deal with nothing, especially depending on infidelity and how bad it is, you know what she does? Like a lady, she says she gets up and leaves. Because your feet is the best indicator of where you stand. There's no cussing. There's no actual physical fighting, slapping him in his face, trying to hit him, all the stuff, your emotions. You just get up and go. That's the best message a man will see how much you're really serious. Now, if you want to combat or agree or disagree with what I just said, Miss
I just want to see the statistics on how many black men are really cheating. You'd be surprised at the number because it's not majority of black men. It's what 6% of black men have admitted to cheating. Um,
I
so
have the article here. What you
yes,
want to look at?
it's not the
Oh,
majority of black men. So if it's not the majority of black men, that means it's not a widespread issue. The women who are finding themselves in this dynamic, you have to look at the type of men and the type of woman that they are. And let's look at the statistics of how many men make enough money that women can say, I'm, I will tolerate, I will stay because he cheats. The average income for black men is what, 40%, $40,000.
it's roughly like 43 or 45.
So,
Yeah.
so if majority of black men make that and under, how is money the factor as to why women stay? That's not a lot of money. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
lot of money for a woman who is on Section 8 who doesn't have any resources of her own. So yeah, that's gonna look good to her. But majority of women, no, that's not a lot of money. So I'm just trying to figure out um, where this idea comes from that women are staying for money when money is not really a factor. Now you have women who date men in the higher finance, social economic class, higher financial status. And if you look at those women, yes, they're gonna tell you that if they choose to turn a blind eye, more than likely it's they're there because they still need to take care of their children. They need to take care of themselves financially. He's still going to provide and take care of the family, so she's going to stay. It's worth it for her to stay. But that's a
Mm,
small segment of women.
mm.
That's a very
Well,
small.
as you look at this data right here, um, as I'm looking at it, it shows here that Democrats of cheating in America who let's see reports having sex with someone other than spouse while married. It shows all I think this percentage, maybe it's percentage. But let's go down. Men 20, women 13, white, black, Hispanic, and it's showing roughly blacks is a little higher than the other two. And white and Hispanic are pretty much the same to the fall on the white. Well that's not a story. And it goes by the ages. 18 to 34, it's like roughly 11%. 35, 64, 17% as you get older, it increase. You ever notice that? Okay.
Yes. Hmm.
And let's go down. High school or less, 15%. Some college, 18%. College or more, 16%. So there's a split between high school and actually having a college degree or more. I think goes upper like the degrees. And it falls in the politics realm that we're not gonna touch. And grow up with both parents from the same thing, saying who reports having sex with someone other than spouse who's married. grow up with both parents is roughly 15%. Did not grow up with both, it gets higher once you not have not into your parents not together, is 18%, or didn't grow up in one. Religion, abandonment, attendance at least once a week, 14%, and it goes on and on. So that, oh, and here's more. Cheating is closely linked to divorce and separation. Currently, material status, I think it's marriage, huh? Cheat on spouse, 53% to 40%, and there's a green line, 7%. Did not cheat on spouse. Now, this is currently married. The blue is the current married, as you can tell. So it says, do not cheat on the spouse. That is 76%. Divorce or separate, 17%. Widow, 7%. So cheating on spouse, as we look between the two, it seems to me that in current marriage, it happens more during marriage. Now, I'm not sure who does it more, because I notice now that women start to climb up in regards to infidelity. And but mostly we all know Letitia, they're finding more divorce than anything else. So that's very interesting. Let's go down. Okay, that's the end of this little article. I could read on, but we're not gonna focus on it. Let's look at the numbers right now. But what other articles that I got from the Oh, here's another one. So let me stop share this. If you want to entwine or interrupt, you can go ahead. That's like I'll put the next one. What's good, Shango? Let me stop. Next one. Right. This looks like now this right here I'm sharing is infidelity statistics and trends of 2021. Who cheats more? The majority of Americans are described their ideal relationships as complete monogamous. 74% of Americans believe that sex outside of marriage is always wrong. So they say. However, the majority of Americans also think it's easier to cheat now than it was 20 years ago. Now, let's pause right there. Let's go into that. I wonder why they would say this. I wonder because of the creation of social media back in 2000,
I would
but it
have
was
to,
never
yeah,
used that much until 7 to almost a decade later in the 2010s.
you have the advent of social media and dating apps.
Mhm.
You have the advent of apps like Ashley Madison. So yeah, social media. I would say the more advanced we get in our communication styles and how much access people have to other people, how much ease of access people have to other people, yeah, it makes it very easy for folks to cheat.
Mhm. Yeah, that's how I look at it. Um, I think MySpace came out in 2000, and then 4 years later, Facebook was created back in February.
Yeah,
And
Facebook
since then
launched
on,
in 2006.
I think you're right. Might be 2006. I think.
Facebook's yeah, Facebook's official public launch to the public was
Uh-huh.
2006.
Okay. Well, remember, it started out in college back when
Yeah,
it was created back in 2004. And
yeah,
eventually, like I said, it probably went public 2 years later. I remember
mhm,
that there was a movie that explained this better.
yeah.
I
With
remember that.
yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, that's the reason. Let me continue. And I see you, Delisha. Welcome.
Thank you.
Uh,
Hi.
Hi,
how you doing?
Delisha.
Hey.
Okay. And it says here, and dating wow. Mary cites Ashley Madison is more popular than ever before with more than 6 million users in 50 countries. So how many of us are cheating and who added more? Men or women? And mind you, I think was it last year? I think the old man was talking about, or brought this element of women are solely rising cheating. I never think of it because, most time when we hear about cheating in our culture or just in general in society, we always find that men are the ones that's doing it first. So we never think of women starting to move like men. But as you know, times have changed for the last 30 or 40 years. So let's look. The short answer, unsurprisingly, is that men cheat more. but around 25% of married men and 15% of married women admit to sexual infidelity. The long answer is that although more men cheat overall, factors like age, education, political views, sexual preference, financial independence, and even race may influence how likely they are to stray. Middle-aged people cheat the most. Men who cheat more than women are at almost every age. The notable exceptions is married women ages 18 through 29, as you can see here. They are 1% more likely to cheat than men in this demographics. More middle-aged people cheat overall, and men report the highest level of cheating in their 70s. Women report that the highest rate of infidelity in their 60s, with 16% of 60 to 69-year-old report to have had sex outside of marriage. So this is like later on in life. Interesting, cheating is lowest among 18 to 29-year-olds at 11% overall. A recent YouGov poll indicate that millennials are equally likely to want to be in monogamous relationship and to think that the ideal relationship is non-monogamous, which is 43% each. And here's the data here. Asian men, women are most likely to cheat. For the ages 18 through 29, like I said, 10% for men, 11% for women. 30 for 39, 14% of men, 12% of women. So it's almost neck and neck. 40 to 49, 16% of men, 14% of women. 50 to 59, 22% of men, 15% of women. 60 through 69, 24% of men, 16% women. 70 through 79, 26% in men. And it shows 13% women, obviously, and 24% and 6% through 80 and plus. So, as you know, the trend of most likely to cheat, it starts to increase as they get older, and then eventually it declines between the sexes. And I think reason why, because men have it depends if they keep their health right. They got the thing they call the blue pill. All right, all right, let's go down. Political views. It talks about already. Education. People with some college education cheat most. And yes, let me read this. Similar to political views, it seems your level of education could also indicate how likely you are to cheat. 15% of confused cheaters had a high school diploma, or less than 60% had completed one or more college degrees, and 80% had attained some college education. And this big circle graph or pie graph shows here that through the dark purple, college educated it roughly is 16%. Then complete college is greater, obviously, and the lower the education is 15%. So, mm, looks like people that have a high school diploma will tend to likely cheat more. Look at this little pie graph. Going down. Oh, this is a very good condensed information. You want to say something, Alicia? A little bit since you're up here. Oh, and before you say something, if you want to
Hmm.
introduce yourself for people that's on this channel for the first time, if they're not familiar.
Okay, my name is Delisha Hamilton. I'm out of Atlanta. I met Eric through Obsidian Show, and I'm happy to be here with you guys tonight.
Okay. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Um,
So I was going to say that I think that the numbers may be increasing as people get older, because I think when people probably initially get married, they're not looking to cheat. It's after years and years of monotony or problems building up, whatever the case is, it causes people to stray. And then even with the numbers being so high when people are older in their 60s and 70s, I would think that that's because, you're getting near the end of life, and you just might want to make sure you're not missing out on anything.
oh yeah, oh yeah. You know, if you notice, ladies, a lot of people, older people, are getting in more than ever, and that's the one secret that people don't know that older people, depending they're like 50s and higher, are having just much sex. Hell, maybe can't catch an STD if they're not careful, and all that thing is going around. That that good Gucci stuff be going in the bedroom as you get older. A lot of people think or feel. We should go by. We think that people not having more sex as they get older, but that is a lie. And we know a lot of women are just getting much sex as anything else as they get older, depending if they're in a marriage or they're single. Who knows?
Well, but
Hmm.
women's
Go ahead.
sex drive tend to decrease as we get older because due to the loss of hormones. Um, we tend to lose estrogen. Our estrogen levels tend to be much lower. We start going through perimenopause and menopause, and estrogen helps regulate a woman's libido. So that can factor into why cheating increases. I don't know if it said that men cheat more, women cheat more, but that factors in why the numbers are much higher as people age. And if it's men who are cheating, it's because they're in relationships where they're not sexually fulfilled because at that point, women just aren't really interested that much in sex at that age.
Hmm. And another thing, I hear from certain women, and when I finish reading this article, I'm asking a Lace a question. I hear for some women, they feel that this is what they say, and I guess they're going by feeling instead of going by the actual facts. And there's data, if we could find it, that they feel as they get older, their sex drive is much more increased than a man. And I'm saying, how so? But they can. I don't think they can really give a really answer. They feel that some of them
What's
could
the
still.
age group? What's the age group?
Oh, that's a good question. Who's saying this? I think some of these women like around your age, Alicia. Something like in their mid 30s, like starting
Okay,
40s.
yeah, because usually women start reaching their peak. Estrogen levels start to soar in your 30s. So women start to uh, hit their sexual peak in their 30s, and it usually can last until your late 40s, sometimes early 50s. But once perimenopause starts to take place, the older you start to get past 45, you start to experience perimenopause symptoms. Your estrogen levels are decreasing. And then well into your 50s, once you hit menopause, this the statistics show that around the age of 55, a lot of women have hit menopause. So their sex um, their their libido decreases, whereas men don't have that same problem as far as their problems more be maybe physical or health elements such as ED, blood pressure,
Yeah.
kidney problems, or something like that. Where ours is just purely uh, biochemical. So
Mm. And another thing they don't mention with the men, and because I'm a man on the panel, and I'll speak personally. As a man, if you want to know where your health stands, is really a serious indicator is when you're having a hard time keeping it up or just not getting regular erections, because it falls in the realm that you are suffering certain health problems. I mean, blood is not circulating. Usually, you have high blood pressure or any other problems that fall in line. I told one young dude because he wanted, I guess, to have sex with one chick, and he was looking for an enhancement. And I asked this man, why you need this type of enhancement for? And he said because he's gonna try to throw down the bedroom. And so I asked him, said, "Do you have a problem keeping up, or just?" And he said, "Well, a little bit." I said, "Well, if you are at that stage where it's hard for you to maintain that erection, then you got to check your health, and you might start cleaning up your health as a man, because one of the biggest signs you know where you stand as a man is how well your blood is circulating. And if your phallus is not normally getting hard on a regular basis, then that is a serious indication. So men, we have what indicates where health stands. We're not keeping health proper. I don't care what size you are. Once that thing's not functioning properly, that's when we know you have some serious health risk. So that's a disclaimer for most men that's not aware of it. Do you want to add on to anything, Delisha?
Um, no, not yet.
Okay, let's continue. Um, the economic independent, financial dependent men cheat the most. A study by the American Sociological Association shows that in the heterosexual relationship, the spouse who earns less is more likely to cheat. 15% of the financial dependent husband will cheat on their wives. Let me read that again because that didn't sit well with me. It says here in the study of the AC or the American Sociological Association shows that heterosexual relationship, the spouse who earns less is more likely to cheat. 15% of the financial dependent husbands will cheat on their wives. So I guess it said if a man's dependent on a woman, he's going to cheat. Is that clear? Did I miss that?
Wait, say that again.
It says here the spouse who earns less is more likely to cheat. 15% of the financial dependent husband will cheat on their wives. Is that
Yeah,
clear?
that sounds about right.
Okay. So when we talk about the homosexuals in our community, how these dudes that depending on how they were raised and they have to depend and live off women. Ladies, you're putting yourself in a very much problematic thing. And let's be honest, Letitia, a lot of women like that because let's be honest, not every woman could deal with a man that's confident and has his stuff really in order and has money right. Because now you have to take the authority and leadership of that man, which the average woman today, because they say they got their own money, they feel they're independent, they're strong. And this is what happens.
Well, it's not just the leadership and authority of that man, it's
Mhm.
also those men have very stringent requirements.
Oh
And
yeah.
a lot of women just don't want to put in the work to meet those requirements. So
Hmm.
it's easier to deal with a man who doesn't have as high of standards, who doesn't have as many requirements. And then not only that, you want to be in control, so it's easier to be with a man whom you can control because who has the coin makes all the rules. So women will, for the most part, modern women will get into a relationship with men who have significant resources so that they can control that dynamic.
Hmm. And it goes back to the power struggle between black men and black women on the average. That today men always want to seek and dominate and seek some form of power, regardless someone want to believe it or not. And overall, women, because how the social engineer of America is now, because they are able to make their own money, etc. They feel that they don't want to be controlled by not just black men, but a man in general. So they feel by making more money is more safer that you put yourself in
Mhm.
the playing field. That's what they think and believe. You get me, Letitia? But we
Yes.
all know that most men do not, on the average, regardless of the economic situation of a man, whether he's making 40K, 30, or even making six figures, the man will always constantly tell you, especially if you're a woman and you keep your body right and you present yourself properly, your money is no good to a man. Because most of 9/10 of the time, that's not his money. So why are he worrying about what money you bring in? See, I think this is something that women created. And I think when they hear about the 50-50 thing, I'm morally convinced that this is something that women create. Because 30 years ago, and mind you, Letitia, we're like an age baby. When we growing up, even before we reach adults or adults, we never heard nothing about no 50-50 thing. This is a new phenomenon. You know?
Yeah,
I
that's
never
true.
heard this. Only time I heard about this is on podcasts and YouTube. When I think about it, say when I hear really folks, I hear women talk about it the most.
Well, I think as women started gaining more resources, and even more so as men, more than men, you had a lot of men who are looking at that and saying, "Well, you fought for equality. You left the home. You're now financially independent and financially stable. It doesn't have to be all. It shouldn't be all on me because this is something you wanted. You wanted to get out there. You wanted to work. You wanted to maintain your autonomy, your financial autonomy and freedom.
Mhm.
So if you're making money, it only makes sense that you contribute to the household. This is a dynamic that
Mhm.
women create,
Mhm.
not a dynamic that
And here's the
men
sad,
create. Men are just responding to it.
And it's funny, and I'm not sure if you want time and whenever, Alicia, that I look at it when women keep emphasizing and talking about they don't want 50-50 or anything, I get it. So that means if you're not meeting this man before he start out in the stage and you want a man well set and ready, this man is gonna have some requirements. You get me? I mean, the man that works hard to even be the way he's supposed to be, make the money, have the status, keep himself up to par, all the etc. to make himself the best version of himself. He's not just gonna take any woman and then say, okay, now I you're already set. I want you. You have to fight with other women to get the attention of that one man to take you on, take you seriously, vent you a little bit for a couple months, maybe a year, 1 year, maybe, depending on things. And eventually he's going to give you a ring and give you something long term. But
It's
it goes
like
back again to a lot of women don't want to hear this. Go ahead.
it's not gonna take that long,
No,
but
all right. It's like this. It's competition. It's
yeah.
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, I think you have some background noise or delayed or something.
Do
It's
you hear background?
delayed.
Oh, no, it might be my internet, but I was saying this that you have to compete for that attention for that one man if that's the man you want. That's what I'm saying. So if I had delayed, I hope I was clear now what I was saying. But yeah, it's like this. A race set man is gonna be willing and want certain things from a woman that you have to fulfill. And let's be honest, throughout the whole early parts of today's conversation is not only what Mr. Sam is talking about men exercise options, which bother a lot of women, but we talking about the cheating aspect. You get me? This is something that's not going to escape us as a people. Now, do I advocate that we as men and women, especially men, be cheating and not giving upfront what we want? Not really, because it's disingenuous at this point. With everything we have presented, and you put yourself in a good position, and you got like that, it's better off you be fair and just tell her what your intentions, what you want, and if she wanted to play ball or not. You put the pressure on her to say if she wanted to be cool with it or not. That's how this thing goes. You know, I mean, I don't know if you want to answer into that, Letitia or Denisha.
Well, I have a comment about the 50-50 thing. I disagree that it's women that have enacted that. I think that what women want is to make their own money and still have a man pay 100% of the bills with them still not contributing would be the best case scenario for them. So I don't think that they put forth 50-50. I think that men responded to the whole independent women, I don't need no man with the 50-50 setup.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said because of that, because of the mentality of
No, not you. He
oh,
said he
oh,
felt that women had initiated it. And I was saying I disagree with that. Eric, you had said that, right?
I said as a question I posed that earlier. Yeah, this question I posed earlier. Correct. Yeah. Okay. And but like I said, the reason I mentioned it because this is new phenomenon. Like I said, most men don't really focus or care about women's money. Now, if a woman is a big woman and a man sees that, he's going to take full advantage of a big woman because let's be honest, some women they say they have option that's big, but unless a man's taking long term serious, most men, if you've been listening, ladies, men don't want to really wife a woman that's twice the size than them or bigger than them, way more than them on the average. And normally men that take on women that's let's say super big, those men to me are two options. Either their money's not right, and the second thing, or that they don't have no real options and they have no self esteem to find or do better. That he could more explore a better quality woman and will probably invest his time and money. Because let's be honest, in this culture, we view obesity, overweightness, thickness as cool, the norm, and that is how women should carry themselves here in America. A woman that is a cis that's let's say roughly 5'3" or 5'4", because that's the average height for women in America, that it's okay for it to be 190 or above. And we all know that's like 12, a dress size 12 or greater, maybe 13 or 14. And I'm looking at say, you know how much the health complications you have the bigger your dress size is as a woman, especially when you start hitting 30 and over, you're gonna fall in a lot of health risks. It might be all right when you're 20s to a degree, and even that you don't want to put yourself at risk because one of the few things that kill black people in America is heart failure, stroke, diabetes, and cancer. And cancer is the top of the list out of everything else. And all that is correlation of diet and stress. So when our community, when we talk about health and not only look good, but being proper mentally, as a woman, it is vital that you try to be as fit as possible just to get the quality man you're looking for. Besides changing your scenery.
You
To be,
know,
if
women
you,
are coming to hear this, right?
I mean, well, remember, Delisha, if you remember when I had you on and we talked about this on our recording last year, Delisha, about this, right? This is something women don't like to hear.
You know how much pushback I get from women because I am trying to explain to them that your looks matter, weight matters.
Mhm.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Clubhouse app, but I do panel discussions on there on a regular basis with Gabe, uh, Gabriel Bell of Ultimate Black Man Radio, Nicole Michelle with the Inner Beauty Movement. We host rooms where we're discussing all of this. And the amount of vitriol and trolls that we get because we are telling women just that we're getting the amount of the pushback from women because why are you telling women this? Why are you trying to tell women that they need to change who they are? Why can't men just accept them for who they are? It's just a hot mess. For the most part, modern women think that they can do whatever it is they want to do and have no type of consequences for it. They can have as many babies, with as many lowbrow, low value men, and that's okay. That was my past. And now I've leveled up. You know, I've gotten my mind right a little bit. I'm making a little bit more money. So now I want to get a high value man or a high earning man, a white collar man, and I should be able to have that. But but I'm the bad guy because I have to tell them the likelihood of you getting that type of man with your history and your baggage is slim to none. And it seems to just set everybody, they get so triggered. They're not trying to hear it.
Let me give that again. You know, it's funny that this information or talent, like it is, does offend a lot of ladies. I don't give a damn at the end of the day because let's be honest, we have to be truthful, honest. And I don't have to say it out my mouth. I'm a man. I'm gonna tell you my perspective and be honest. But when a woman tells you, it goes further, you know. And let's be honest, most women, just like certain men, and Delisha might know what I'm talking about, are not willing to do what it takes to do something different, you know. Especially when women don't want. What is I
The
will
thing
in a
that
second.
I don't get is the denial of women denying that that is just a fact, that men are visual and that it does matter. Whether you're there or not in your life right now, I get it. But the denial of acknowledging that this is an issue is beyond me.
But
Cognitive dissonance.
mhm, mhm. If you notice, ladies, with the Lizzo thing, with her posing how and moving the way she did, even to the point now that you have corporations are now funding and backing her body or what do you call her body positivity in regards she is the front cover of Dove, I think moisturizer or soap wash.
Mhm. Yes, stuff.
And I'm thinking to her that yeah, they're gonna give you a nice little small check, but they're gonna rack up the money with a lot of overweight women that is willing to not change their appearance. It should be an insult for any woman that's a size 20 like her, or 22, because she's over 300 pounds at 5'11", to sit there and be the representation of black women in regards to image in America. A lot of
But
black women should be. Go ahead. Go ahead.
but isn't she on a weight loss journey now? If I'm not mistaken,
Uh,
she's
I
on a
I
weight loss
doubt it.
journey.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Well,
I
she
heard rumors about
was
that. Did you hear rumors? You heard about that, Delisha? I'm hearing about she was on some weight loss journey. I don't see that.
No, I haven't heard that, but I will say though, you say that, I mean, she is a representation of black women. If she's that size, she is a representation of black women. So if Dove or any other company is trying to sell products, they're going to want to, everybody wants to see people who look like them. If they want to see more black people represented, if they want to see more women represented, whatever the case is, women who are full figured and feel like there's nothing wrong with that want to see themselves represented as well. And so a woman that's a size 20 is a representation of the majority of black women, because I think the average size is like an 18.
let
Well,
me
right now it went up. Now that was a couple years ago when I last time I checked. I Googled, it was like size 16, 18.
yeah.
Now in the 2020 and 2021, now we're in the first actual year of the new decade. That it should be now 20, dress size 20 now.
That is
Because remember,
ridiculous.
every year, every 5 or so years, the weight increase, including more weight, the more dress size has to increase. So
So
go ahead.
let me say, these past 2 weeks I've been traveling. So I was invited to a birthday party at a penthouse, right? This was a group of all black people. Majority of those black women were overweight.
Hmm.
This past weekend, got invited to go on a Fort Lauderdale Intercoastal Way. Got invited to take a ride on a yacht, and it was two black couples, me, the guy that I'm dating, another black couple, and then the rest were white and Hispanic. None of us were overweight or obese, and this was a much higher value, higher caliber crowd. These were, but it was an eye opener, even though I see it, but to just like really take notice and pay attention that these women, and we're all in our 40s, and I was the youngest one. No, no, one of the other girls were the youngest, but we're all in our 40s. But these women were still smoking hot for their husbands and their boyfriends. But I'm looking at the penthouse party and that experience, and I'm like, all the women, just about majority of them, I could say, with the exception of me and two other women, out of maybe 20 women, were overweight and obese.
Wow.
So that shows something with the difference between our community and that of other communities when it comes to so-called high value people. Well, my question is, why are black men still associating with women that they have no desire for?
Well, to answer that, can you repeat that question? I want to let that sit in. One more
Great
time.
question.
Why are black men still associating with women they have no desire for?
Well, damn. The only thing I can say, because I'm a man up here and I have another man that's down there, I'm bringing up in a second, bro, is I guess most men, they just want to indulge into certain sexual lust. What I mean by this, they just want to, I guess, have the ability to, screw pretty much anything on the low, and then if they have a woman or a wife, it's to go back home to the wife like it's nothing. That's my only answer I could say. I don't really entertain certain women, a certain size. I kind of was lucky, you know, from my little history of things. Not much, but my thinking is this: that because I have a different mindset, that I can't see myself besides the average man really having sex with women that are like almost could be as big as me or just over 200 pounds, especially if they're under a certain height. You get me? Because it shows, you know. So I can't see it, to be honest with you. I think if I don't know if it was you that said it earlier, Delisha, on another stream
Uh-huh.
about men. I can remember you, Delisha. It's about some of these women. I forgot. If it comes to me, I'll bring back. But let me bring this brother that's up in the panel, being patiently waiting. All right, welcome, JJ. How's everything? Welcome to my channel.
Everything is good, Chaos Rain. Are you Bajan?
Benjamin? No, I don't know what that is.
You're not from Barbados?
Oh no.
Oh,
Don't get
oh
fooled
no,
by that. This is something I had for
oh no,
years.
you have an accent and sound similar
Yeah,
to my mother-in-law.
yeah. It's,
Yeah, so basically, I mean, we do have an overweight problem, but let's just be real here. We are the only community where our women desire the highest quality of a man. You know, I mean, back you take
That's
this
not
back
true.
before slavery, you take this back after slavery when they were going through Jim Crow era and all that other stuff. They were at the highest marriage rate. The women was a lot smaller, and they didn't require all the stuff that these women are requiring today, based on looking at TV and looking at fantasy land instead of living in a reality. You know, and I think that is the huge problem that we have. You know what I'm saying? And trust me, I'm not a man that's broke. I'm coming from the aspect of looking at the community and why the women are struggling finding a man because they look at too much TV and they are visualizing what they want and they try to live their life just like Lizzo. Lizzo did talk about the weight loss journey. She talked about it on Instagram. She was crying, talking about, I gotta lose weight. I don't feel right about my body. And then for some reason, she just did a somersault because women started coming at her. So she switched up her tune, and now she's on a body positivity. You know what I'm saying? So like this, like I said, social media, TV, can change your mind when you're doing something right. I seen that happen to Lizzo. This was like a couple of months ago. She made a statement on Instagram. She was crying. She's talking about she want to lose weight, you know, and then next thing you know, she did a somersault.
But I have a question for you. If men can value and want beautiful and attractive young fertile women, why is it not okay for women to want a man with significant financial resources to bring stability to the family and to the marriage?
Well, I look at things. I come from a traditional mother. Yes, I had a mother that stayed home. She did not have to work. My mother didn't really start working until her late 30s after her abusive husband left. But she stayed in that relationship. She was loyal to him. She is not cheated. She barely went out. She sat home and raised the kids. The kids was her priority. And she told me growing up, I just told the lady this today. She said, I put my husband before my kids because he has to protect me and my kids. And he was a well provider. You know what I'm saying? He had status, network, all of that. But when I come from this type of mother, she wanted that man for him. I could see my mother still, if that man wasn't abusive, if that man lost everything, she would have still been there. You see, this is where it comes down to. Like, I I make a lot of money and I'm single now. And I was married and I had my kids in marriage. But I am not taking a woman that want me for money. I come first, everything else comes last. If I don't mind taking care of a woman, but you're gonna want me for me first. You're not
Wait,
gonna want me for what I can do for you. And
so
I'm sorry, I'm gonna always reject that premise. I'm not changing my mind on that.
okay, so that's okay, but that's fair. So, but will you say that you will be with a woman for what she can do for you and not based on how she looks?
Um, it, I have a certain I have a certain standard. The woman cannot be obsessively overweight. Now, if she's, I like thick women, but I don't want obese women.
Okay.
You got thick women that actually look good.
So,
That,
but do you see the hypocrisy there, the irony that it's okay for you to have a standard, a superficial standard,
uh,
but it's
but you
okay
gotta
for
under,
a woman to
there-
have a superficial standard.
but my standards not involving me wanting you for something that I know that if I don't have it, you gonna leave. If I get with that woman and she's treating me right and she gained weight, I'm not gonna leave.
So if she during the course of the marriage she becomes morbidly obese and doesn't want to lose the weight, you're gonna stay.
I gotta say I will. My
Okay.
mother, my mother raised me right. I'm sorry, most men ain't like that, but I would stick in there. I would stick in there. She had my kids. She's taking care of the home. What more can I ask for? She's loyal. She's not cheating on me. She's been
So
faithful.
if you're
I have
fine
to take all that into account.
so if you're fine with getting with a woman who is morbidly who
I won't get with her that way, but I've never had that, and I
if
don't, and
you're
I doubt I'll get that. I
if,
doubt I'll get that
and that's the problem.
because I'm from a place where I'm from New York. I don't really, I don't really mess with um big women because I don't. Or every woman I had, I'm gonna be honest with you. Every woman I had came to me. I never really had to go out there and talk to a woman like that.
Okay, so then what you're telling me is that you have a modern style of dating, you're more modern than traditional, um, which is fine, and that also what you're saying is disingenuous because you have it in
I'm
your
not saying it's okay for women to be morbidly obese,
let me
but
finish.
if you get with a woman and she gets sick, you're gonna just bill out on her on
Who
your marriage because she's sick or because she's going through a health problem.
who
Because
said
sometimes a woman gaining weight in a marriage could be a health problem.
okay, but who said anything about getting sick or a health problem? She just once the baby started coming, she just decided to just let herself go. A lot of women put on all that weight and don't have a health problem. But I'm saying you're being disingenuous because you're saying, well, I don't think that'll happen to me because I don't date women like that, and then I don't even go out and search for when women come to me, but not realizing that when you get married, anything can change. She's giving you maybe 3 to 4 babies, and she went from a size 6 to a size 20, and you're saying you're trying to tell everyone you will stay even if she decides that she's not going to take off the weight. But
Well,
but what I'm at,
I had a wife that
okay.
she was a size 6 before the baby, and then after she had the baby, she jumped up to a 10. After she had my son, she lost the weight before my daughter was born.
Okay, but that was that wife. That was that wife. That's not every you can't say what your first wife did will be every woman. The reality is most women, there's a reason why a lot of women are morbidly obese because they don't want to do the work to take off the weight. So all I'm saying, so when you're telling me that you want a wife, you want women for how you want, you have a standard for the type of woman you want, but it's not okay for a woman to have that same standard. You're going to be looking at her for her beauty, her youth, her fertility, but she can't look at you for anything tangible. She has to look at you for your characteristics and your personalities when that's not what
No, I didn't say that. If you didn't, you just misconstrued what I said. I said I said she gotta want me for me first. Everything else comes next.
which you is based off of your morals, your values, your character, your personality. That's who you are. But also, your money is a part of who you are, how driven you are, how ambitious you are, your ability to take care of a
Yes, and I work 70 to 80 hours a week.
okay,
Of course it matters.
yeah, it does matter. And for men to sit up here and say, I don't want a woman to want me for my money, that's nonsense to me. That's
But
crazy.
I'm not saying it from a broke man standpoint. I'm
It doesn't
saying it from a
matter if
man
you
that has money.
it doesn't matter if you have money or don't
I
have.
want Listen, this is why you see all these celebrities and basketball players going through the stuff that they go through because they never evaluate whether that woman wants them for them, and they go out there and they go out there and they make bad choices with these women that they think because they look good and they got a nice body and all this other stuff is that they're gonna get treated right. Character is important.
Why do we have to go to the extremes?
Because character is important.
Character is important. Character is very important. But
because I can have a lot of money and be beating your ass every night.
Okay, but what I am saying is you have to face the reality that you can be a great guy and have a wonderful personality, have all these great characteristics, but guess what? If you can't provide for a family, if you can't hold your own in a relationship, in a marriage, and she's got to be the breadwinner, majority of women going to reject you. Why? Because that's not natural for us, for the most part. That is not natural.
I'm not talking for every man, but for me, I want the woman to want me for me because I want to know if that money ends up going down and I'm sick to the point where I can't work anymore and make money. I want to know that she's going to still be there.
This is why I have a problem with this is why I have
leave me sick and dry.
This is why I have a problem with this argument, because you won't be with an ugly woman. You will not be with an ugly woman. You will not be with a morbidly obese woman. But you want a woman to be with you through.
Can't push the needle that far.
That is not a far needle. It's a standard on both sides. Men value beauty, youth, and fertility. Women value financial resources. But what you're saying is, forget all of that. I just need you to make sure that even though I won't be with an ugly woman, I won't be with a fat woman, but I need you to be with me no matter if I'm broke or if I'm whatever. But I need to know that you're going to be with me, but you don't hold that same standard on your end. You're not going to be with an ugly woman. You're not going to be with a morbidly obese woman. You're going to be with a woman because based on the standards you set, but yet you're having an issue with a woman having a superficial standard as well. That's hypocrisy. And that's the reason why a lot of women are like, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to go for the man who understands how important money is, because he's not going to give me this pushback. Yes, I want a man who has good character, great personality. I want that. That's a given. But I need to know that the lights are going to be kept on. I need to know that the babies are going to be able to eat. But and she comes to you like that, and she's saying, look, if you're broke, I can't date you because I don't want to do struggle love. You're like,
I'm not saying that she got to date me broke. I wouldn't even approach a woman if I wasn't making money.
When I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if a woman comes to you and says, look, here's the deal. I understand you want me because I'm beautiful, got a nice body. I don't have an issue with that. I'm going to put it down for you however you like it. I'm going to twerk it, bend it over, keep this body nice and tight for you because I know that's how you like. And all I'm asking for you is to make sure that your money is straight, your money is good, that we won't have to struggle.
Well, I was 19 years old when I got married.
Okay.
I was making like $60,000, but that was only because, my godfather was a carpenter and he got me into that business early. But I still was young, and I dated my wife, and then we got into a relationship, and then we got married. And then she aborted the first baby because she didn't think that I was really financially stable. Even though I was making $60,000, she was doing the numbers in New York. She was like, no, we need to try again. And she got the baby aborted. I was mad because I wanted it. And she just wasn't willing to take the risk. So I understand exactly where you're coming from. But as I got older in the relationship, I started making more money. And then we went back. It was back and forth cheating and stuff. And she cheated on me with guys that made less than me. it almost was going to leave me. If it wasn't my place, she could have threw me out.
Okay, but again, what does that have to do with
Because
women value
I'm just
financial
telling you that
independence?
I'm just telling you that I was a guy that wasn't financially stable at one point.
Okay, and I understand that, but what I'm saying is,
I was 19 years old. I was unstable. I mean, I was making money, but I wasn't making enough money to provide for a family.
then why would you get married then if you couldn't take care of
No, I just said she aborted the baby. We was already married, but she aborted the baby because she didn't want to bring the baby in the marriage because I was only making $60,000, and this, I'm 37 now, so that was, pretty much a lot of money back then. But she didn't. But I didn't think it was enough money because like I was young, I didn't know how things would go up dramatically because I wasn't thinking far ahead. But then she was thinking far ahead,
right,
and
but
she
that
was
was supposed to have been your role. As a man, you were supposed to be thinking about that. Not getting married when you could not financially provide for a family because when you get married, yes, children could come into the picture.
well. My mother told me don't have. My mother told me if I'm serious with a woman, get married before she carries because if you happen to make a mistake and she get pregnant, you're gonna be having a baby out of wedlock. She didn't want that for her son.
But you got married first. So what I'm saying is you made a decision to get married, then you got pregnant. What I'm saying is the decision should have been made to I'm too young, I'm not financially stable, I can't take care of a family, so I'm not going to marry at this point. I'm going to wait until I get a little more financially stable. Or if I do get married, we're going to utilize birth control so that we don't bring children into the marriage because we can't afford them at this moment.
Well, it worked
I
out.
think that's a
It
better.
did work out. It
I'm
did
trying
work out.
it, but it didn't because somewhere on
It did work out because we had our son.
but then somewhere on the line, you seem to feel some type of way because women value financial resources. Well,
No,
I'm not
women
gonna say
value sex.
no, that's modern women. So I'm going to correct myself and say that there is a certain type of woman who values financial stability. So a man's resources is going to be top high priority on her list of requirements and standards. And it seems like that's coming from your own personal experience that you take issue with that, but yet you're fine with
But she didn't leave me. She didn't walk out. She
okay,
stayed. I mean, even though she got the abortion, she stayed in the marriage. You know,
okay.
she just waited until she knew that I would be making more in the future because of me being a carpenter. She's like, let's just wait this out. You know, let's get a bigger house so that our son can have the best life possible. And she was older than me, so I got to take that into account. She was older than me, and I was young, not listening to my mother. My mother didn't want me to get married at that age, but I did it anyway because I was immature at that time. But she hung in there with me and stuff. Even though we both cheated on each other, it didn't really matter when I got older because I noticed that one thing that woman would still be there to this day if something happened to me.
All right, Jason. You hear me? Let me see my mic. You hear me, Jason? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Um, you got married what in the 90s or 2000s?
I got married in I think 2003,
Okay. Okay.
May 19th.
Okay. Okay. Well, like I said, if you're able to work out in that marriage and your relationship with your wife, it's all good at the end of the day as I look at it, because like anything, things are gonna be work in progress. It's gonna be a struggle.
I mean, it's said for better for worse. So, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't really know what those words mean until we got divorced. But to this day, we good friends. She even go pick up my daughter that I have by another woman. She's still there. Even though we not together, she's still there. We good friends. She's going through something, she can call me. I'm going through something, I can call her. You know, if she ever needs anything, she knows she can call me for it. You know, so we on good terms. You know, that's why
Yeah,
like I value someone wanting me for me because like honestly, I can say no matter what that woman did to me, she's still gonna be there any day that I need her.
I see here. Anthony wrote, older women tried to trap me when I was in my 20s. Interesting, bro.
You said
I don't
older
know.
women.
Yeah, that's what Sir Anthony. I
She
don't know if
was
you want
only
to take the
she was
him up.
she was
That
24. She was 24 years old, and I was 19.
I mean, it does happen. It goes back to again, in the society we are operating backwards to raise people. Women are moving like men, and men are unfortunately moving like women. So that I could see happen in this climate, in this society. But I'm glad you get trapped up, Sir Anthony.
But but I gotta say,
Hmm.
a lot of it, transpired from my mother raising me. But then when it came to the women choices, my mother was like trying to pick the women, the right women for me, and I didn't listen. So honestly, getting in the marriage that I got in, my mother really tried to avoid me getting into that. Even though I was too young for it.
Well, I think the reason why your mom tried to give you some advice to avoid it is because she see the environment, and I would say maybe possibly the quality of women. It might be two factors, Jason. That's why your mom probably
Yeah,
told
cause
you
she
to
was a
avoid.
stay home. Yeah, cause she was a stay home mom. She didn't start working until her kids got older.
Yeah, that's what normally happens on the average. But like I said, as men, depending on what age, we get into, we live and learn, we grow, and we get better through experience. Especially if we're not around other older black men, and we know older black men, they will tell us differently now. I think with
Yeah,
certain generations now, they're not gonna be hitching to get married. I'm not sure if they're even gonna think of marriage now
yeah.
because
My
that's
son told me that he's not getting married till he's like 45.
yeah,
He's
and
only
some might even
17.
say they might not even want to get married at all. And we all know with the correlation between age and men in regards to marriage, as once a man passes mid 40s, late 40s, but mid 40s, the chance of him getting married starts to decrease, which is kind of true in some cases. So if he's thinking on it now, just let him know to the numbers. I'm not saying he won't get married, but
Yeah,
likely if
I
he waits
told him,
too long,
right now he
that
doesn't want to deal with these women. He doesn't want a girlfriend, and I'm like, at that age, I wanted a girlfriend. He just wants to, you
yeah.
know, be friends with women. I mean, with girls at his age. I mean, he doesn't want no relationship.
That's how
Tell-
old is he?
My son is 17.
Okay, well, that's time. I mean, right now he should understand women.
He's just working on being. He said he's working on being a veterinary doctor for animals.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. Like I said, as men, we have to be able to multitask, not only do what we're supposed to be doing, but have understand women. So that way we don't get stagnant. We don't lose our muscles in regards to how we interact and socialize with women. You get me? Because
Yeah, I
the whole
get you,
point,
chaos, man. But
if you remember during the other broadcast with the cheating thing, one thing is
yeah,
not said. There's a lot of people that's being very much and growing into what I call antisocial, um, digitalized people, where people don't communicate enough, they don't
yes.
interact, how to
And the
conversate.
internet, and the internet
Yeah,
is like
yes,
it's electronically bringing people together, and that's like really the wrong way. That's like telling somebody they don't need to walk into school, you can do it over the computer, but then they have no interaction with authority. So when they get on the work field, they get real sloppy because they've been doing everything over the internet. So when they meet in person, they don't know how to correlate with each other. Like it's like what I was saying about when the Instagram first hit. I said, "Oh, this is bad because no one is going outside to meet anyone." And then all these dating sites just started emerging even more. and now starting to be more popular, and women got ultimate choices, and it's like no one is meeting anybody in person anymore. Everybody's keyboarding meeting, and then when you meet the person in person, you know, you think this is what you want, but then as you get to know each other, it's not like knowing each other over the internet. It's a total different experience in person, and no one's talking about that.
Yeah.
Like you can
Yeah.
meet a girl before you can go walk down the street, meet a girl, you get a number. Over the internet, they acting like you're a terrorist. You see the
Yeah.
difference?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't just get a number off a dating site that easy. You have to sit up there and talk, talk, talk. Back then, you say a couple of words. She's got to be somewhere early. She's made time to give you a time of the day because she's feeling you, and now she give you her number. It's not like that anymore. These days, it's more, you know, they filling the people out, having these long conversations for weeks and weeks and months. And you get to the person, you think this is the person you want, and you go, and some people just make a mistake and get married, and then they find out this. I don't know nothing about this person. It's nothing what I seen on the internet,
Mhm. Yeah.
and that is happening a lot. But if no one wants to agree with it, hey, I just know back then the old fashioned way was women and men. They either meet at a workspace or they either meet in a public place like a library or even like a little lounge where they playing nice soft music, But these days there's no meeting in person, and these days it's all internet. And then these relationships these people don't even know each other. They just think they know each other because they've been chatting for a couple of months on the internet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then you
But
got Canberra marriages happening. I wouldn't trust that.
mhm.
I need to see
Wait.
you physically.
I guess Sir Anthony wrote here. He says, or he says, it's not talking about much, but in this space, but I encourage black male chastity up to the age of 18 and responsibility, self preservation, and thereafter. Okay, well said, Sir Anthony. Um, the ladies, Delisha and Letitia. One question I want to ask y'all because y'all two women in the panel. I noticed I was around certain conversations and a few women. One particular said that she feels and believes that women are not really meant or designed to be monogamous, and she feels the only reason why a lot of women still operate in monogamy, that means they don't explore their sexual desires to have multiple sex with multiple men, or like what they want to call in the so-called manosphere, the dick carousel. They feel men because of how men train women in the society that they don't feel they want to exploit their non-monogamous actions, i.e., they want to be polyamorous, just like the men, and have many sexual partners. What do you feel, or not feel, but what do you think about that, or your
I
take on that?
disagree. I think most women innately want monogamy.
That is a woman who is gaslighting and manipulating. A woman who does not want to be shamed, held accountable for her uh, sexual freedom, liberation. Biology shows us that women are monogamous. Um,
Mm,
we do not have a biological need for sex like men do. Not saying we don't have one at all, but we do not have one like men do. If women truly paid attention to their bodies, they would notice that they are really horny without having to be turned on around the time that they are ovulating. That is the only time you will, for the most part, see a woman initiate sex without a man having to do absolutely anything. She is primed and ready to go, and that's due to biology. Her hormones are raging, she's ovulating, and so biologically, your brain is signaling to your ovaries that you need to ovulate in order to procreate. So there's hormones that increase our sex drive because that increases the chance of us getting pregnant, wanting to have sex to get pregnant. Whereas men, that signal happens on a continuous is a continuous cycle. So whereas women, it's what a 21, 35-day cycle. Um, depending on the woman, 21, 35 cycles, whereas men, it's a continuous cycle. Women get pregnant, that's it. We're not getting that's the only pregnancy
Yeah.
we'll have for the next 9 months unless something happens to that pregnancy. Whereas men can impregnate as many women as there is a biological need for men to procreate at any given moment because they are the ones who because the way women are built, they need to be able to have sex with multiple women in order to procreate. So they were designed to, I won't say not require monogamy, but they are designed to have multiple partners at any given moment where women biologically are not built for that. But I will say that a lot of women who trauma and hurt and pain develop this psyche of a man. If a man can do it, I can do it too. And that's the only reason why they take this stance of being sexually liberated and want to sleep with all these men like this is because they've been hurt or they've aligned themselves to feminism and decide, well, if a man can do it, I can do it too. I'm independent. I'm a woman. I should be allowed to do this. It has nothing to do with biology or our innate nature.
As y'all know, that's just the straight up fact. And the reason why I asked this question, ladies, because I was around certain conversations, and I hear few set women mention this, and they were talking about this, even to the point, if I can remember, they saying that, well, this is always going on that a lot of women were very much non-monogamous because, for their logic, they said before integration, most of our parents and grandparents that were married for 30 or more years, they said that most of their wives would give birth to children, but they might not be the biological of the husband, so they might have stepped out in a relationship. That's why some of them would pose and bring up that question to back up their argument. You
But
understand?
that's the lie, and there was no statistics to support that. Yes, there are women who cheated and got pregnant. That's been happening for eons. That has nothing to do with whether or not women are biologically designed for monogamy or not. So that argument makes absolutely zero sense to me, and that may have happened with their grandparents. There are a lot of people out here who do not have that history in their families. So
And
that to me sounds like some gaslighting again to try to cover the fact that they're out here just simply wanting to operate like men and be hoes.
she's a hoe. Oh, she's a hoe. Oh, she's a hoe. We know you was a hoe. Well said. Well said. Do you agree or disagree, Miss Delisha Hamilton?
I mean, I think that no woman wants that for herself. I think it's just other areas of dysfunction that manifest in that way.
Mhm, mhm. So, fellas, keep in mind, don't deal with dysfunctional women of any nature. Anytime I hear some woman talk that bullshit, I'm gonna run fast, 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 like speeding bolt. Zoom! Let me see. Somebody, go ahead. Somebody say something. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah, Cynthia. Yeah, a lot women did lost their way. Some, there's some women out here, but you have to find them because it's very small. You know, it's funny that if I was very well known in coding, I would have to create a nice little dating site, dating app, just to weed out just the nonsense in regards to men that's doing their part and women that's doing their part, and it is serious. I just want to, being in a relationship and eventually want marriage, like something structured in a way where if people are really serious that okay, go here, right? Fill the information and we go off from there. But like I said, more of a what do you call it? What you do, Letitia, is much more reasonable. So like, I tell people many times and I emphasize. Oh, and for those that's listening, if you're not familiar with Miss Letitia Underwood, I did have her on. So if you want to catch one of the old broadcasts I did with her, she goes in detail on her profession. So I will probably put this in the stream at the end of it for reference. Oh, and let you know, Miss Delisha Hamilton, you're up on the next stream we did. So I'll send you once it's I put out. You get me?
Awesome.
Ironically, I was checking my data on all my videos I finished up. So yeah, be on the lookout. So I guess we cover a lot. Wait, actually, let me read this section in the article and the part in it. All right. The last part of this is the economic independence of men cheating the most. And it shows here the same study shows that just 5% of women cheat when they're emotionally, or I'm sorry, 5% of women cheat when they are economically relentless on their spouse or reliant on their spouse. The more a woman is contributing to her household total income, the less likely she is cheating. Ashley Madison, a dating site for married couples or married people, ran a study to find out which profession have the most cheaters. It reveals that people in these jobs are most likely to cheat retail and hospitals. Surprisingly, 8% of men and 9% of women. Information technology, 12% of men, 8% of women. Entrepreneurs, 11% of each sex. And we know, Delisha, you're an entrepreneur yourself, and also you too, Miss Letitia Underwood. You see the trials and tribulations on that. Medicine, 5% of men and 23% of women. And trades, 29% of men and 4% of women. I think they're talking about like stocks and stuff. And it shows the graph right here.
So
Oh,
basically,
go ahead.
you have a disparity between white collar, white collar, and basically blue collar. So majority of blue collar men cheat, and then
Mhm.
majority of white collar women cheat.
Yeah,
Is what it's
that's how
saying.
it goes. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, makes sense. Anybody agree or disagree? Do you find any disagreement in the study, Delisha and Joe?
No.
Is that- Okay. Are you speaking, Joe? Do you have your? Oh, and you got YouTube playing. I hear background noise. You gotta turn it off. YouTube. Okay. Thank you. All right. And sexual preference, heterosexual marriages experience the most infidelity. Most of the information I've included is based on data collecting from married heterosexual couples. More on this and disclaimer below. A 2010 study of more than 560 male gay couples conclude that 45% had monogamous relationship and that a significant percentage were in open relationship. The Rockway Institution, a center of LGBT research and public policy in California, published a report stating that young LGBT people want to spend their adult life in long term relationships, raise children. 80% of young people surveyed expect to be monogamous relationships after age 30. Okay. These sources indicate that many LGBTQ, I like to add a Q because that's what it is now, people who have sex outside of their relationships do not, with their partner's consent, and that young people are already focused on successful futures relationships. In other words, LGBTQ people are less likely to cheat than people in heterosexual relationships. I don't know if I want to agree with that, but let's go on. Race conflict data. And let me see. And it shows here the race conflict data between cheating. IFS conclude that your race may also play a role in how likely you are to cheat on your spouse. In this study, 30% of Hispanics, 16% of whites, and 22% of black respond admit to cheat The study didn't record response from any Asian or Native American showing a base sample group. However, another study reports 81% of Black Americans believe that it's always wrong to cheat. This study links a higher rate of church attendance with the belief that infidelity is always wrong. As you see this little bar graph, and there's a disclaimer and a conclusion. So let me go down to the conclusion. The conclusion part of all this: men, and especially older men, are more likely to cheat than women, but women aren't completely innocent. This can make it really hard to trust people even when you've been trying or you've been together for a long time. Consultation with a love physician can help you feel more confident and secure in your relationships. And that is the end of this article. And like always, people, I will leave that links to this article for y'all to read for yourself. Okay, so I guess I left a lot of good information out here. I hope y'all take heed to the information. You got perspective from not only me as a man and Mr. Jason, sorry, Johnson here, but to the ladies, my good friends here that I know well now for the last couple months. Miss Letitia Hampton, as you know, she is the expert of not only finding your right match, but she has been very helpful to the communities and find love and stable relationships the best way she can. And Miss Delisha Hamilton, you know, she is in business. You know, if you want to know how to flip houses or you need a realtor, am I right, Miss Delisha? You know where to hit her. But don't worry, she's coming. So be on the lookout for that broadcast with her and me. Let you know. So, anybody has any closing remarks?
Thank you so much for having me. Keep broadcasting.
Oh yes, I will be. I'll broadcast as best as I can. Letitia?
And chaos. Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, chaos reign. You know, it's my first time on your channel. I love your content already. You know, I'm going to always be here when you go live. You know,
Okay.
I like the way you think and stuff, and I appreciate you, brothers like you, man.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Miss Letitia?
I just wanted to say that for anyone who is, for any of the men who are looking to find their wives and they're not successful, you can always go to my website, www.twoheartsexclusive.com. That's TWOHEARTSEXCLUSIVE.com. It's also listed on my YouTube page, which is Two Hearts Exclusive. You can just sign up for a consultation by clicking on consultation for men. If you are interested in receiving date coaching, you're having a difficult time during the dating process, I do work with both men and women, and you can sign up by clicking on the date specialist tab. And thank you once again, Chaos, for having me on your platform. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. So I just want to thank you for that. And you all have a good evening.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And I thank everybody that was listening to today's stream. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit the red button and hit the top bell. That's when you know when I go live or do upload on my channel, Chaos Rain. Also, share this broadcast. Leave a comment for your thoughts and opinions, whether good or bad, how depending on what part of the show you like or you don't like. I'd like to hear from you. Um, Also, I have other broadcasts that I've done. You can go back to those broadcasts and slowly list them. That'll be good. I think there's gonna be some decent content moving forward. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about the other show that I'm on. It's having some little issues right now, but like I said, I'm just growing as I push on with the content. You know, I think I'm probably gonna mix up a little bit more. So just sit back. The best is yet to come, people. The best is yet to come. Oh, and also, if you're not subscribed to my podcast, to my broadcast, I did a stream that has the link to the previous live stream I did. That will connect you right to my podcast from Anchor, Spotify, and Google. You'll find on the links. The links are there. So thank you again, people, for listening. Let the chaos reign.